Namhlanje, I want to learn more about the shamanic. Shaman. What is shamanic and
Shamanism, yes. Shamans get powers from nature.
Yes.
So nature is the source of all power because all the senses we have their other spiritual senses. There's a spiritual sense for seeing, there's a spiritual sense for smelling, there's a spiritual sense for hearing, there's a spiritual sense for touching. But before you were born, the Creator already knew. And some of your own people might have even been told, and they might even know, that in this line there will be a healer. You see, just like the parents of Jesus Christ, there was an angel that came and said, hey, you will give birth to a son, and this son will do 1, 2, 3.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another interesting episode of Munchies and Thoughts. My name is Pasanani. I am your chef, and I'm joined by this handsome man, Sobon. Siyaphila kunjani? I am honored.
I'm so honored to be here as well. It's such a blessing. It's been a long while that I've been preparing.
True.
And, we've been planning, but finally it has come to pass. Yeah.
Oh, finally. And thank you so much, for honoring this invitation to come and sit with me. And the Munchies, of course. We are going to have fun.
Let's have fun.
A lot of lessons that will take place here.
Yeah.
Because I'm cool. Let me not take away the shine from you. Please introduce yourself. Who are you? Where you from? And what's special about you? And then, of course, if you want to leave your number, in case some of the Munchies might want to contact you after this episode, please.
Well, my name is Baba Mojelo. My clients know me as Baba Mojelo. My full names are Mokhomotsi Wakwamfala Pizza. I'm from two clans of Tswana. From the Bakwena Bamudi Musana. Our totem is the crocodile. And on the other side, I'm from Batlokwa Bamuzatsi, and our totem is the ant eater, or the ant eater. You know the ant eater? Some call it the ant elephant, but it's one of our animals. We call it takadu. So those are the two totems that I stand under. I'm a shaman, I'm a healer, I'm a visual shaman, I'm a fire shaman, I'm a water shaman.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
Yes.
Nizwile usichazile ukuthi ungubani, ubuyaphi, and what's special about him. Of course, we are going to learn a lot about you and what you do. Bagula Makaya, you all know we need to do a share to welcome you.
Thank you very much.
Please know that I don't take you for granted, and I really appreciate you.
The feeling is mutual. Same here.
Namhlanje, I want to learn more about the shamanic. Shaman. What is shamanic and
shamanism?
Shamanism. Babula Makaya, namhlanje sifunda ngama shamanism. He did mention you are one of them, and you did mention them. So I just want you to tell us more. What is that? What animal is that? And explain yourself.
Yes. When we speak about shamanism, we're speaking about a very old form of healing and transformation system, which is very closely related to the indigenous people of the earth. So we are not talking about only South Africa, we're not talking about only Africa as the continent, but we are talking about all the continents of the earth. The word shaman originally comes from a Siberian native tribe, and their healers were called shamans, but the direct translation is a ghost talker, somebody who speaks with spirits or spirit, but also a night walker, somebody who can travel other realms and dimensions of existence. So shamans have been doing this for a very long time, and over the years, the word shaman was adopted by other shamans worldwide, especially through the growth of Western interest in shamanism. So more people started to use the word shaman, but what it truly means is somebody who is a knower of things, but somebody also who is a seer of other things that people don't normally see. So in many cultures, shamans would be revered, but they would also be feared because of the practices that they embark on, but also the powers that they have. Some people would see them as madmen and madwomen because they would be seen dancing in the forests, dancing around fires, dressed in different regalia with different animals, skins, feathers of birds. So just seeing them in their play when they're in nature, it would be terrifying for some people. But these are the traditional healers from different nations who have been helping, people heal internally, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically. So when it comes to South African and African shamanism, it has its own also way of revealing itself. And we have different healing systems which also touch on the shamanic. But what makes a shaman special is that we believe in the three worlds. So the three worlds is the lower world, where the ancestors go when they pass, or they first go through the lower world, the underworld. That's why we talk of abaphansi. We never go face up to the sky to talk to them. We go down. So that's the underworld. And then we here, where we are in the middle world. So the middle world has two versions of the middle world. There's the physical middle world, which is where we're sitting now. Everything, you can touch it, you can hold it. But there's also the upper middle world, which is now the same rod that I'm holding. It has another version of itself in the upper middle world. So even me as a body, I have another body in the upper middle world. So those are the middle worlds. This is where we are. And then we have the upper world. So the upper world, they are very cloudy, very airy, how they look, but they also have structures, buildings, castles, streets, and that's where you find some of the ascended masters from different religions, all the leaders of the powerful religions of the world. You find saints, you find angels, you find cherubims, you find other masters of healing who have been shamans also in their previous lifetime. Some of them, you find them in the upper world. So that's what really makes the whole shamanic outlook different, because when we work in these three worlds. But this is just not to say it's three worlds, because each one can be divided into many other worlds. Okay. It has subdivisions of many other worlds. So for example, if a shaman is looking for something that has been lost, or maybe a person who is missing, they're going to search in the middle world for that person through searching for the astral counterpart of the physical thing that they're looking for. So when they find the spiritual element of that physical object, then they're able to locate the object. So in the middle world, when we work as shamans, we are working with location as well. We're working with where people come from, where they were born, where certain traumas took place in their life, locationally. And also, if a healer is looking for something that they need to find, they would look for it in the middle world, right? But if a healer is looking for a soul that has been lost, which is one of the things that makes shamanism very special, is the use and the belief in soul loss. So if this person went through a certain trauma in their daily life or in their human life existence in the past, the shaman can go into the underworld to look for a fragment of their soul, because souls are not just one piece. They are different components put together to make a human being. So when somebody went through a lot of trauma, sometimes there are soul fragments from where they are. So they move into the future, but not being a complete person. They left a piece of their soul in the calendar line, in the timeline, where this thing happened at a certain location. But now, different from looking for an object or a real life missing person, we would go into the underworld to find the missing soul, or the piece of the missing soul. So some people have went through childhood trauma. So that trauma, over the years, the soul can find a way to kind of forget it or suppress it, or pretend it's not there, or even deny it like it never happened. But an aspect of the soul is still in that same space where that thing occurred, where it took place. So a shaman will go into the underworld and find that soul. Some children and souls have been found hiding in the closet, under the bed, at the scene of an accident, at the scene of a rape, at the scene of a loved one's murder, at the scene of a war. Wars cause a lot of trauma. So now this fragment, this puzzle of this person has to be fetched and has to be rejoined with their soul so that it becomes one collective thing. So we would go into the underworld for that. But also traditionally we work with power animals. So a power animal is a bit different from how it's seen in the Nguni traditions and some of the local Ngoma traditions, where the power animal is your own totem. You have your personal totem and you have your clan totem. Your clan totem is part of your nation, your people, who you are, where you come from, who's your mother, who's your father, who did they belong to, what animal did they dance. So we would say, in my Tswana language, we would say, Ubina eng, which means, what do you dance? And then you would answer, Nakibina tlo, which is in loaf, or an elephant, or Nakibina tao, which is the lion, or Nakibina khom, which is the cow. So all these different animals have their spirit selves, which is a higher intelligent energy of the same animal. So if we're talking about a cow, instead of the cow having many spirits, although they do also have their own life force in each cow, they have one major spirit which governs all the cows. You see? So if your totem maybe is the leopard, there is one spirit of the leopard which governs all the leopards that have ever existed. You see? So you're able to connect even with the leopard through this energy. Now, these power animals, they stay in the underworld. So a lot of people, when we say the underworld, they think of hell, because there were also told stories from different religions where they believe in hell. But the word hell comes out of a goddess who was called Hel, and the words like abyss. So the underworld is not a hellish burning place. Although there are also places where it's not so nice, which are terrible, scary places, fearful places, where things are not looking nice for a spirit which is there at that time. So, and then when we go into the upper worlds, now we work with the angelic realm. That's where you hear in the local traditions they speak of isithunywa. So isithunywa comes from the upper world. So they are sent either at birth with the soul or pre-birth even, before the person is even conceived in their own mother's womb. There's already a certain angel or angle of light, because an angel is an angle of light. So light goes in angles. So this angle, if it's angling towards you, or it was sent towards you as a messenger, is thunywa, then it works with this particular person. But not many people are aware of their thunywa. Mostly healers at some point of their initiation will get connected with their angelic entity or guide or guide. But the ordinary person doesn't know that they also have their own guardian angel. You see? So when we work with the person from the lower world, we can work with the power animal to strengthen the person. If your crocodile is your animal, we can work with the crocodile to strengthen you, to heal you, to find out what can work with you. And when we work on the upper world, we can work with your angel to give us the same message. Now, with the angel is also linked to your star, because all of us are here on earth, but originally we have star origins. We have stars that we come from. So when you are born under a certain particular star. So your star connects you to your birth, and therefore connects you to isithunywa sakho, your angel, but also connects you to your mother. And that's why other healers or shamans, with just the name, your name, the date of birth, and the name of your mother, they can already pull out the whole file. You see? Because now they know your star on the birth chart, and now they know the name of your mother, which is very powerful, even beyond her death, even beyond your own personal death. Your mother remains a very powerful source of creation, a source of foundation, a source of healing. So this is what really creates this shamanic world, where everything is spiritual and everything is supernatural. Because the word supernatural is still natural. People think when it's supernatural, it's above natural. It's just natural being super.
Okay. I just want to ask you a question before we proceed. What differentiates a Sangoma or Inyanga or Igetla from Shamanic?
Well, as I've said earlier, there are things that are common within the practices, but there are also things that are different.
Okay.
Within the shamanic culture, ancestral spirits also do exist. And that's what also exists within the Ngoma culture. But now, within the shamanic culture, it's not always the ancestral spirit that will possess you or mount you and then have you do the healing on their behalf. You see? You don't initiate this particular ancestor so that they can work through you in this lifetime, like you do in the Ngoma culture. Although it can also happen where an ancient shaman comes through a new shaman and carries on the work through this new shaman. So it does happen, but it doesn't always happen. Sometimes it is the spirits of the plant itself, you see, because these plants are alive also. Because remember, in shamanic culture, every part of nature is alive. So this table is alive. Okay. At a certain level of vibration, the molecules and atoms forming this table are vibrating. So this table has its own table consciousness. A flower has its own consciousness. A bee has its own consciousness. So coming from that, as a shaman, a certain plant can also choose you to be a healer under the order of that plant. Because that plant is not just a plant, it's a teacher. We call them teacher plants. Like in other religions, they would call Umfundisi the teacher, which is what it means, the one who teaches. But for a shaman, the true teachers are the plants. So a plant is able to choose you as a healer, and then through this one plant, it will open up many other related plants that are also healers on their own, related to this one plant. And this plant will then start to teach you ways of healing through what we call a dieta or a diet. So diet in shamanic culture is when you refrain from many things that people eat to eat only that plant or a couple of plants. So you would only be eating certain plants for maybe 3 months. Some people do it for 6 months. Some people it's a whole year. So after that, that plant now merges with your body. Now the thoughts from the plant can transfer into your own thoughts. Now the knowledge of the plant can transfer into your own knowledge, you see. But with Ubungoma, sometimes what happens, or most of the time, is that there is an ancestor who was a healer before, who has left Iskwamasake or their healing bag, which has their mission and what they need to do and what type of healer they are. And they might, through their lineage, pass it on to a child or a child of a child of a child of a child of a child who has a quality that they're looking for in their soul, that they can be a healer. Or who in their previous lifetimes had karma where they have to be a healer. So when they come now again, soul doesn't forget, so it reminds them and the initiation comes in again, you see. But the commonality also is that we all believe in God. And we all believe the herbs can talk. The difference is that with us, the herbs become just like people. They become just like a person.
So, Mkulu Mjelo, your shamanic. Okay, let me just put it as a question. I know you've already explained a lot. So, the shamanic, where do they get the power?
Shamans get powers from nature.
Yes.
So, nature is the source of all power, especially in the middle world, because the natures of the underworld sometimes are different from the middle world. And the natures of the upper world are different from the middle world. But also as above, so below. So certain things are the same. Certain things are the same and they affect each other. So nature is the source of all. In the ancient Egyptian language, which is also our African culture, because it was African people who lived those tens of thousands years ago, they had the word called neter-u. So the word Neter-U, it was talking about the gods. But it was speaking about God, because we also had the word Neter, which is the singularity of the Neter-U. So there's one God, which is Neter, and there's the many God, which is Neter-U. And that became nature. You see, what the Afrikaner call Natur, from the same word Neter, Neter-U. You see, so naturally, the shaman is gifted with these gifts. And when we say naturally, people always think of the physical. But nature starts from the invisible. So the invisible is the source of the shaman, the invisible nature, which through his physicality and his body can now take space and become a physical nature now. That's when people say, hey, your healing is working. Hey, I'm seeing changes in my life. Hey, I'm not that person I used to be before. Hey, the trauma is gone, you see? So now that's now the physicalization of the invisible. But the shaman already saw that thing happening in the invisible, where everybody does not see. You see, they see it first. They look at you sick, not being able to walk, but they have to see the healed person in you first, which is natural. And how do they do it? Through the pictures of their mind. So we work a lot with our mind. Yeah, well, so the mind is the one that conjures up the pictures which we would like to see. If a group of men are going on a hunt and they talk to a shaman, the shaman needs to project their destination. What they want is to come back with the animal. And they want to come back with the animal in the most respectful way. They don't want to kill an animal that is pregnant with a young baby, which is not a good thing.
Which is not a good thing.
Yes, so the shaman would go with his inner eye into the game, into the space in the wilderness, and search for where the animals are and check what chances they have of coming back with an animal before they even go. And then he would use certain herbs to protect them. He would use certain herbs that would make them invisible to certain animals, certain herbs that would help bring down their sense of their smell so that the animals don't pick up their smell. And then the men would go.
So akufani nenyanga nezangoma lokho.
It's the same. It's the culture and origin and the way it's done that is not the same. For example, not many healers believe in the three worlds.
Yeah.
And not many healers believe in journeying, because there's what we call journeying. So journeying is a technique that we use as a shaman. You learn it during initiation, where you are able to go into these worlds, like I'm telling you, going into the middle world, going into the underworld, and going into the upper world, visually. Sometimes you go so much that you are actually surrounded by the landscape of the place. Because all the senses we have their other spiritual senses. There's a spiritual sense for seeing, there's a spiritual sense for smelling, there's a spiritual sense for hearing, there's a spiritual sense for touching.
Okay.
So that's what some of the things that make it different, because we use visuals to journey, you know, instead of maybe throwing bones and then reading them, although we also have oracles. But there's other ways that we use, and the main thing is to journey, to go into that visual journey where you go and see.
So you guys are more technologically.
You can also say so. You can also say so.
Because when you're saying most of the time you are using visuals, so you are a Sanusi.
Yes, Sanusis are very much closer to shamans.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. You were counting shamanic water, what? I think you said 3.
The different worlds.
I don't know whether it was a different word or shamanic that you are in, but you can explain that, yeah.
Or in terms of the different types of shamans.
Yes.
Well, mainly in the cultures of the world, the earliest shamans were divided according to the 4 elements.
Okay.
So you have earth, you have water, you have fire, and you have air. So all these elements by themselves are also entities. They are alive.
Okay.
They are not just heat of the flame of the fire, as you are a chef when you're grilling. That flame is alive.
Shaman, it's water, air, fire, earth.
Yes.
Okay, proceed.
So, and just to add, there's a 5th element, which is ether.
Ether.
So ether is the spirit.
Ether, okay. Okay.
Yeah, it represents the spirit.
Okay.
So,
if you can explain this for me, I'll be
yes. So each element has its own strength. And each element is connected to a direction. So we have north, west, east, and south. So each element has its own governing point of direction where it moves from the side to the center. Because remember, the compass, it has a dot in the middle. That dot is you. You are in the center of existence. But all these elements come towards you. You know, your body is the earth, your blood is the water, your breath is the air, and the heat in your body is the fire. And that's why when somebody passes to go to the other side, the body becomes cold. So the shamanism that's there, it's also related to these elements. You find earth shamans who are very close to healing with soil, healing with herbs, which also come from the soil. They're very close to the underworld because the underworld is also partly under the earth. So they are very grounded healers. They help people who are being blown by the winds of life. They help to ground you, to bring you back to your culture, to your way of life, reconnect you with the land that you come from. So they're dealing with the earth, the history of the earth, where you come from, where did your ancestors stay before, what did they do on the earth. Then you have a shaman that's a fire shaman. Okay. So fire shamans deal with the fire element. They heal with the fire. If they have a herb, they have to heat that herb up.
Oh.
Yeah, they deal with steaming. They create what we call steam lodges, where people go in as a group to steam together in that lodge from those steaming herbs. So they get it through their pores and they start to heal them in a certain way through their skin. So they use fire to heal, to concentrate, to chase away bad spirits, to protect. Fire will always be involved. There's water shamans. Water shamans are related to the water element, which is the blood of the universe. Water is the blood of the universe. So the water is one of the oldest. It's older than earth. Yeah, so they are one of the strongest. And that's why even with the other healers that you bring on your show, when it comes to water, there's so many stories that come from the water story. So this shaman would heal with sprinkling. You sprinkle things around, water things. His herbs will always be mixed with water. They do teas. You have to drink this thing. You have to go get cleansed in the baths on the mountains, which is what I also do for my clients, cleansing. They are connected to the water. But because of that, they are connected to the water spirit also. Because many people speak about the water spirits, but they don't know about the water spirit. So they speak about the spirits that stay in the water, different ancestors that are in the water, which is also there. But they don't acknowledge the spirit of water.
Okay, teach us.
So the spirit of water is a very old spirit, and it's a feminine spirit.
Okay.
It's a cleansing spirit. It's a amalgamating spirit. When you boil different herbs in water, it merges them. Then that water collects everything from those herbs. So it's an extractor, that energy. It extracts something that you don't want from something else. But it's also a nourisher, a grower. For the earth shaman to be powerful also, he needs the water shaman. Because the earth without the water is a desert.
True.
So the water is the life grower. It's the one that comes with the intelligence of what the seed has inside. When the seed feels the water, it remembers what seed it is. Its intelligence comes to manifestation. So that's why you see water many times it's used for manifestation. It helps for manifestation. It helps for making things clearer. If your eye has some dust or sand, your tears drop, or you put a teardrop, or you wash out with water, the water makes the thing clear out, and you get clarity of vision. So a lot of people who also heal with water are people of clarity of vision, you see. So they have the inner vision. Like the earlier healer who you had on the show, he was speaking about that other vision of the water, which is not a physical vision.
Babugela Mama Kaya, I hope you are still enjoying the episode. I am having Ubaba Mojelo, the shaman, shamanic.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Like, I'm learning. You know what really makes me happy about this show? I'm a learner, and I learn every day, every episode. And I want to tell you something. You know, I really thank God and my ancestors. Because every time when I'm doing an episode, and then maybe there's a follow-up episode, they link. Let me tell you why I'm saying that. You spoke about 3 levels. Emhlabeni siphila kuwo. Down, middle, up.
Yes.
One of my guests spoke about that. It's very interesting. It shows that we are going somewhere. And I'm so glad for this show. And I believe that the Munchies as well, they are glad for this show. Anyway, let's proceed. Okay, were you done or should I?
No, that's fine. You can carry on.
Okay, Ba Mojelo, tell me, do you have rituals?
Yes.
And do you, just explain.
We have rituals within shamanic life, but the rituals, we call them ceremonies.
Okay.
So the shaman is the original master of ceremony. So when you hear they say MC Ubani, MC Ubani, the original MC is the shaman, the runner of that ceremony, of that program. So the ceremonies are programs. You can liken them to software. You install the software, and then you click on the icon, which is the symbols. So in shamanism, we use symbols. There's symbols for everything. And each symbol is representing a more powerful meaning. And the meaning of the symbol is actually stronger than the symbol. So we work around also with symbols that we use around in our ceremonies. But the main important thing is intention. What is your intention? Yes, I came to the show to be part of the show. What is my intention?
Yours or mine? Yours.
Yes, mine.
Okay.
I'm asking myself as well, because I speak to myself a lot.
Okay.
And then myself says, no, your intention is to share this with the people. Your knowledge and information might help someone. Even for future shamans that will still come from this nation, you see. So ceremony has to have intention. Why are you doing this? Anytime you're approaching spirit with your presence, the question is why? What? What do you want? But why do you want it? So your intention has to be pure. And that's why when I do healing, you need compassion. Without compassion, you cannot be a powerful healer. Because compassion is that which drives you to do all that you have to do for your client. Because it's all for the client. So the ritual comes in there where it's to serve a certain purpose. It's to serve a certain intention, a certain manifestation, a certain transformation. There's something that you want to change. If this rod is sitting like this, I'll do a ritual to make it sit like this. Because this is how I want it to sit. And when it's sitting like this, maybe the energy flows differently. So there will be a ritual for that. So there's different ceremonies for everything. But these ceremonies are also connected to initiations. Because in shamanic culture, life is an initiation. When you are living here, you are being initiated for a next life. Birth is an initiation. When you are born, there's certain rites or rituals that have to be performed by your family according to their cultures to welcome the soul into this plane of life. Part of those rituals shamanically was to find out from the soul of the baby, who is this child? What are they here to do? What help do they need? So these answers they would get from the oracles at the birth of the child during a ceremony. And the parents would already know, nay, this child is a leader, this child is a warrior, this child is a healer. You know, these are the qualities that we can expect from this child. And if there's also any negative qualities, these are the negative qualities we can expect from this child. They have a short temper. They don't understand things easily, you know. That is what they come with. And that's why in cultures we would speak about the placenta. and babies who are born covered in that placenta, because that placenta is also a symbol of things that this child comes with, and that's why their hands are born clutch fist, because they are holding on to something which they have to give the planet. So birth is an initiation, it's a ceremony, it's a ritual. Whether you do a ritual or not, but birth, when a woman gives birth, that is a ritual. That's why a woman never forgets it, especially the firstborn. They never forget her firstborn birth, you see? Then when a child starts to teeth, that's another ritual. That's another stage of growth. Their mind is no longer the same. Their soul is slowly coming in more and more into their body, because the soul doesn't just come once into the body. That's why growth is a process of the soul slowly coming into the body until this person is like this, a certain type of person. Yeah, so that is also another ritual. Two more before I end. Then there's adolescence, which is connected.
So before you're saying two more. So
yes.
Now you are on the number.
I've been counting from birth. So it's birth. I've counted the teething. There's the third one, which is now adolescence.
Okay.
Yeah. So now the sexual elements of the body are starting to grow. The womanhood is starting to show. The manhood is starting to show. Beards are growing. Breasts are developing. Fallopian tubes are spreading and growing. Hips are showing. You know what I mean? So even for the child who goes through adolescence, there is another ritual or another ceremony, which in my language we call it koma. Koma. Which is also related to ubungoma. Lengoma lekhulunywa ngayo le.
Okay.
Because in that ritual, there will also be a song of the ritual. So the songs are very important, because songs are like prayers. You see? They send a message even stronger than a spoken prayer. If you want your prayers answered, sing the prayer. Sing it instead of talking it. So that koma is the song that is sung during the adolescence. Now they are leaving being a child to being an adult or a pre-adult, or going towards adulthood. So different cultures have different things that they do for the young boy and the young man. Some of them include circumcision, some of them don't include circumcision. But all of them include talking about what it means to be now this man, this woman, what are you gonna find in this future? So you're being prepared. Remember, initiation and ceremony is a place of change. The spot of change. You don't want things to be the same after that. So this person, after that initiation, they're a changed person. Then after that, you have marriage, which is now the fifth one. Marriage is another ceremony. People do white weddings, people do traditional weddings. There's different rituals that are performed by different families and cultures for your wedding. Because now you are living this single life of yours of being alone, thinking for yourself. You are connecting with somebody else. You're going to have to compromise your values at some point. You're going to have to tolerate their behavior at some point. You're going to have to deal with your differences, you not being the same, and you're also combining spirits and families, both living and dead, that you're bringing together, that people that don't know each other. And that's why in African culture, initially they would advise you to find your wife not too far from your village, because already those people understand each other. They're eating the same food, they pray the same way, they understand the same cultural nuances. But when you go for somebody far, they're further.
But they always say indugu enhle igawula ezizwe.
Yes.
So
yes.
What if gigawula? But anyway, let's do a chess. Because I'm really enjoying this.
Yes. Very good question. The concept of indugu enhle igawula ezizwe. We must know when certain parts of culture came through. Not all culture is totally old culture. There's very ancient culture, which has been practiced for thousands of years. But there's also what I call post-colonial culture also, which is cultures that were created when already we were being an oppressed nation, when white people were already here in Africa. A culture that was created in the 17th century or 18th century, when we were already slowly being oppressed. It's still African culture, but it's not the oldest culture. It's a culture we created after we were oppressed. Under oppression, we came with certain cultures. So an example with Ndugu Endle, during the time of wars, when other cultures were taking over other cultures, okay, to expand their culture, right? Like the Zulu family. Not everybody was Zulu initially, but they had to bow their family names under the royalty of Zulu as a family that will lead this nation. So many nations had to be swallowed inside this new creation of a nation. Like the Ndebele people, they were not Ndebele initially. They were a break-off of the Zulu people, but as they traveled north, through the lands of the Tswanas, through the lands of the Sothos, through the Griqua lands, the Koranas, they took other nations with them. They swallowed these nations. Now, sayings like that became very popular in that era, where because you were a warrior, you could get a wife from another nation. You didn't have to marry in your own nation because you were a warrior. You could go conquer another nation and get women from there, different types of genes of women, light complexion, tall, short, big.
So, what you advise? Indugente vele kumele ikhawule ezizweni or wena you believe ukuthi indugente sikhawula khona la.
Ubuhle is a sense, right? Beauty is a sense. If I look around this beautiful space, this beautiful studio we are in right now, if I can't find beauty here, what makes you think I'll find beauty somewhere? If I can't see beauty in these beautiful flowers, they are different from these flowers or these plants, but they are also beautiful in their own way. Okay. So beauty is something that we appreciate ourselves. Other people have higher appreciation of beauty. Like as a shaman, I have a very high appreciation of beauty because my senses have been opened. So what you just see as a normal flower, to me, is very beautiful because of my sense of beauty, which is an appreciation of beauty. You see? So based on that, somebody might see beauty closer to where they are, which I prefer. Somebody might have to travel based on their life journey, where their story is taking them. You have to come to Goli. When you come to Goli, the KZN woman, you don't find her here. So you find a Sotho woman, and hey, she's pretty too. She's beautiful.
Wow. Thank you, Mkhulu. Babura Makaya, less appreciate beauty. I took that from you.
Yeah. Yeah. And the more you do, you increase your level of appreciating beauty. Wow. So you get more appreciation from even the smallest level of beauty.
Thank you. Mkhulu, tell me, are you born shamanic or it's something that you got along the way or you were initiated? Yes, you did count.
Yes.
So now I just want to understand. It's just a general question. Were you born shamanic?
I think yes and no. I think both answers qualify.
Okay.
You see,
answer us.
You are born shamanic in a way that before you are born, already the spirit, the great spirit, the creator, that's another thing I must mention to say. When you're a shaman, you also believe in God, but not God in a Western sense, God in a natural sense. So you believe in the creator, but before you were born, the creator already knew. And some of your own people might have even been told, and they might even know, that in this line there will be a healer. You see, just like the parents of Jesus Christ, there was an angel that came and said, hey, you will give birth to a son, and this son will do 1, 2, 3. Like I told you, to say at birth, there were stories to say, who is this person? You see? So in that way, you already are a shaman before you learn, but you don't know. A lot of shamans don't want to be shamans. It's not something they wanted to do. They had other careers. They had other things they had planned and dreams, but now they are compelled by the need of their healing to be a healer. And then now the initiation part comes where it's you recognizing, accepting, and now wearing that new title. So that's a big process. For some people, it takes 30 years, sometimes a lifetime. For some shamans, they go through what we call shamanic sickness, which is also similar to what Abangoma they go through sometimes. where this person gets very sick physically or loses their mind before they can actually go through with their training to be a shaman. Some people are struck by lightning. Some people go into repeated accidents. Some people stay on the verge of death for many times. So I would say you are a shaman at birth and even before birth if you are a real shaman.
Okay.
But you still have to be a trained shaman. You see, you have to learn still. You are a dog. You were born a puppy, but you still have to check your mother dog.
True.
Barking and biting so that you learn how to be a real dog, you know. So that's why I say both sides.
Okay, another question. So, the general question again. Your thoughts.
Yeah.
Do you really think there are people who are shamanic, but confusing shamanic nobungo?
It's a very controversial question, and
but you need to answer
a very strong question.
Yes.
I would say yes.
Okay.
A lot of people confuse different healing system modalities with ubungoma, especially if it means ubungoma is the most prevalent system of healing in your region or in your geography or in where your culture is situated. So a lot of people, when they say you have spirit, unomoya, or bamungenile, or uyabona, uyaphupha, then they think the system is ubungoma, the system they have to go through, you see? And this confusion can happen, as I showed you. Some of the things are similar. You will also dream. You might also get into a type of initiation illness, which is the same. So through these commonalities, you might think, oh, mina ngiwelang up, only to find that sometimes you are not even supposed to go through that way at all. For example, me being a shaman, my guides and my nature spirits that I work with don't work with blood. You see? So they work with water, for example. They work with plants. And if I need to have the same value as blood, I would use water for the same value because blood is powerful. That's why there's a reason that others use blood for their sacrifices, whether it's at home or to even just to eat. We have to kill blood because people always say, but these sacrifices, what. But you're still eating meat, which is another sacrifice for just your belly, not even for your spirituality. You see? So already these sacrifices are there, but my ancestors don't need blood to heal you or for me to do any ceremony. So they would ask for other things. I work with corn, I work with fruits, I work with veggies, I work with herbs. If I need to make an offering, I would offer fruits, you know. I work with water, different types of water collected from different geographical positions, yes. So those are some of the differences. Sometimes you find that you get initiated as a sangoma and baklabela, bakumbathise imbuzi, make you wear inyongo, but you find that that's not your path. That's not the type of healer that you are. Maybe you're a water healer. If you have a glass of water in front of you, that's all you need. Maybe you're a visual healer. You just need to see and tell the person the truth. Maybe you're a herbalist. You just need your herbs and that's it. You know, maybe you need to throw corn on the ground and read what the corn tells you. You see? So it's important to connect first, to have a proper connection with your inner self, which is where shamanism starts, because we put a lot of focus on the ancestor. And shamanism acknowledges the ancestor, but acknowledges that the ancestor is just one of the many spirits that exist.
Oh, okay.
It's not the do.
It's not the goddess.
No. It's another being. You know what I mean? So that has lived before.
Interesting.
So it has a memory of living. So the reason people are close to ancestors most of the time is because the ancestor understands what it means to be human. They know what indlala feels like. When you're talking about emotional pain, they know what being heartbroken feels like. So they can relate, you know, and other nature spirits, you would have to work harder to get them to understand the clarity of your human condition. So because of that, I would say there are people who would be shamans by birth, but then end up being umungoma. Other people are prophets, but they could end up being umungoma. Other people are even possessed, right? But they could end up being umungoma through that possession. Through Umkobela explaining it as, no, this is your ancestor, they want you to do this, only to find that this is a different spirit. It's a negative spirit sometimes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Mkul, before we can go to what I want to ask you now, for my knowledge, because it's the first time, like, Mina, the first shamanic I know about, it's you. And there is another gentleman from overseas. Yes. I was watching him because me doing the show, I need to be open-minded about things. I need to make sure, this, like, I work so hard to do the show. Maybe people, they can see the beauty, but I work so hard. I forgot the name. It's Jarom, something like that.
Oh, Shaman Durek.
Yes, you know him. Yes. He's amazing. I love him.
I love him.
I love him.
Yes.
He's also a model.
Yes.
I love him so much.
African guy, dark.
Yeah.
So
guy. I just want to understand, in our country, I haven't heard about it.
Yeah.
Because even now, knowing about you, it's because I met you when I was doing my live, and then it happened that we exchanged numbers and we followed each other. So I want to understand your understanding or your knowing. Do you think we have shamanic people in our country? Are they visible or are they scared? Remember when I asked you a question earlier on, do we have a situation where there's a confusion between shamanic and ubungo? So now this question is a follow-up of what I asked you.
Yes. Now, I think sometimes there can be a confusion. There can also be fear. One of the fears that a lot of healers go through is the fear of rejection, right? So, and I think initiation helps from society, from family, from friends, from your lover if they don't understand what you're going through. So people as a whole have certain ways of looking at these issues. And I'm very proud that your show has shined a light on some of these topics and demonized, because most of these topics were demonized.
Yes.
So it does happen that a lot of people will end up being a Sangoma because predominantly it's the dominant healing system that's there. Even within the Sangoma system, you find that there's different tribes of healing. There's different cultures. Abasotho, Batswana, Mazulu, Maxhosa, Mampondo, Mapaka, Venda, Tsonga. So all these cultures have their own systems of healing, which they might not call Ubungoma. They might have another name for it. But because the Nguni culture is a dominant culture within South Africa, most people will end up falling on the Nguni culture. And that's why a lot of people don't even know their own tribe's name for the herbs that they use. But they know the Zulu name for that herb. But the same herb, the vendors call it something, they also call it something else. It has its other names. So within that, there is a mistake where people can end up being initiated as Sangomas, whereas they are shamans. But it's also important to find out where is the origin also of your basis for healing. With me, I've been to Mexico before, before 2010, and I was traveling for work, but I didn't know that the Spirit wanted me to go there, to go see the pyramids that are there, to go to the sacred sites that are there, to meet some of the shamans. The first shaman that I met in my life was when I went there, you see. So the reason I'm sharing this story is to say my shamanism is very related to South America than Africa in many ways, right? Because shamanism is a worldwide system. It's not too cultural. Many times shamans even changed a lot of things within their own culture which were done this way before, because they are the trendsetters of the culture. They're creating new cultures. So they represent the world first. That's why some people call me Mojelo of Earth, not of Africa, of South Africa, of, Mojelo of Earth, So when I pray for the earth. When I get my healing energies, I get them from the earth, who is our mother. I heal with the earth. And that's why even my healing card and my license allows me to heal in other parts of the world. If I go to Latin America, I can heal. If I go to Northern Europe, I can heal. I can heal anywhere, and I can connect with other shamans who have the same worldview. When I talk about the 3 worlds, they understand what I'm talking about. When I'm talking about journeying to those worlds, they understand what I'm talking about, you see? So we start to connect, whereas sometimes in your own culture, you are born in a healing system that locks you in. If you are Zulu, you are locked in within Zulu culture now. You can no longer explore other healing modalities within that. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's also what you might have been given. But if you are a world healer and you are now so cultural that it limits you even from healing other people, then that's a limit. And that's why I would use English, not that I'm a better English speaker, but because my people are all over the world.
All over the world, and in order for them to understand.
And I speak pure Tswana as well, and I speak good Zulu as well, and I understand Xhosa and many other South African languages. But I'm reaching out to more people, which is the people of the earth.
Wow.
Yes.
Mkhulu Mujelo.
Yes.
Before we can do a chess,
Yes.
I want to ask you.
Yes.
I want to give my munchies an experience.
Yes.
But I want to bring my cameras.
Okay. Okay.
I know you do your events where you're doing your healings, even at your space.
Yes.
You're an artist, right?
Yes, I'm an artist as well. A lot of shamans are also artists.
Yes.
Yes.
But I want to give my munchies an experience, like maybe 5. I want them to feel this experience, the healing.
Oh.
Do you get it?
I get it.
Do you get it?
I get it.
But I can only do that if you're allowing me.
Yes.
But you mentioned a lot of things, healing this and this and this and this. I want to experience that myself. And I want to take 5 munches, including myself. Of course, me now will be waking because if I'm allowed to bring the camera.
Yes, yes. There's parts where the camera can work.
Yes.
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 Yes, yes. So
No.
there's parts definitely where the camera, we say ear, we announce the camera. The camera is an eye.
Yes.
The microphone is an ear.
Yes.
So we have to announce them and say, there is another ear listening for everybody. There is another eye watching for everybody.
Yes. No. As long as you're allowing me, we will discuss more. Okay, this and this. Remember, Guti, after the way I will do it, after they experience that, am I allowed to interview them?
Yes.
The experience.
Yes, to get the experience, because yes.
Am I allowed?
Yes, you're allowed.
Yes, so which means it will be me interviewing them, the experience, and then of course there are places where the camera can go and there are places where the camera can't go. I'm respecting that, I'm allowing that.
I could actually even go a bit above that to say, if they're a group of 5 and let's say you're a 6th person, that's a nice group.
Yes.
We could even organize a ceremony for them.
That would be lovely.
A special ceremony.
Tell them, because I'm gonna take 5 munches.
We'll definitely
with
organize
me.
a ceremony with Chef Patanani and the Munchies. Plan it nicely.
Yes,
You need to plan it at least a week to 2 weeks in advance.
Don't worry, I'm a planner.
There's preparations to do as well.
Yes.
And then you choose a venue that will be conducive for the people.
Yes.
And then you talk to me about the venue because I need to have certain elements covered in that venue. And then I know it's perfect. Then we set a date and make it happen.
So we're gonna do this.
Yeah, we're gonna do this.
It's okay.
Yes, it's an overnight session.
Darlings.
I would like us to have an overnight session. Normally, we would do it on Friday, but it doesn't have to be a Friday. But we would meet, let's say, 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock. But then the people that are coming to the ceremony would have to have 3 intentions that they make towards the ceremony to say, I'm going to Baba Mojelo's ceremony with Chef Patanani and the Munchies. But here are my intentions. This is what I'm struggling with in my life. This is what I want to be shown. Because this experience shows you. It's not just me telling you. You're going to see what I see. You're going to see the inner worlds that I see. For that moment.
Don't worry, I'm munchies. Now I feel like I can have 10.
10 is also a good number.
Okay, let me do this. I'm gonna look for a nice place. We're gonna do it overnight. Yeah, I'm gonna talk to a friend of mine.
Yes.
Who's got a beautiful lounge.
Beautiful.
So don't worry, I'm connected. So I'm gonna get a place.
Yes.
Let's take 10 munches who want to experience this with, of course, me. Chef Mbata and Mkhulu Mujelo. What will happen there? I'm giving myself you're going to have a beautiful meal. I'm going to cook for you. You see now, the cameras will be running around me now what I'm cooking. And then we're going to have a ceremony, but we're going to plan everything with you.
Yes.
And then let's give the munchies an experience.
Yes, they would love that. And I think from that experience, because you see, shamanism is not about faith as it is about experience. Faith is me coming to your show telling you my story. You might need faith to believe me. But when you're experiencing what I do as I experience it, you don't need faith.
Oh, darling,
You're
don't worry.
experiencing.
I am Chef, but I'm going to make this happen. My munchies, Gyantanda, and thank you so much for supporting Munchies and Thoughts from zero to where we are today. Definitely, Mkhulu, we are doing this.
Let's do it. I'm very excited about it.
I'm excited already.
I'm already going to say a prayer at my altar to let the Spirit know that
we are definitely doing it. Like what I want to say to the Munchies, those who would love to join this, let me see by hands up on the episode comment section, or DM me, or WhatsApp me. Let's see. Then me now will have a way. And of course, I have my live TikTok that I do. It's just that this weekend I'm very busy.
We could even do one on the It's on.
What I want to say to you, thank you so much. And you are loved by me. It's a wrap.
Love
Goodbye.
it.
Darlings, thank you so much.